Commentary Booth is a show for media lovers by media lovers just like you. If you want to support the show, go to pariomagazine.com.au. Welcome to the Commentary Booth, where we watch and, you guessed it, commentate on the week that was in movies and TV. I'm your host and play-by-play commentator Jamie Epps, and each week I'll be joined by a rotating cast of colour commentators to help you find your next viewing treat. This week I'm joined by a freelance social commentator who lists their favourite movie as American Psycho and favourite TV show as Peaky Blinders. Welcome back to the show, Blake Robinson.
Hello.
Does your jumper say good coffee?
Goodies. The Wollongong Institution.
Goodies coffee. What the heck is Goodies coffee?
It's a coffee shop in Wollongong. Those who know.
Sounds very random.
Free promo. No, it's good.
You and Jackson, bloody hell, Jackson trying to flog off Young Henry's last week.
Yeah, what was the go with that?
It just
What
got given young.
have to say about that?
He just got given Young Henry's and decided that he was going to promo the crap out of them.
You promo on Coca-Cola.
I'm always promoting some sort of soft drink.
Some sort of sugary substance.
How's things been otherwise?
Keeping busy. Been playing lots of golf lately.
Oh, before it started raining?
Yeah,
a couple of weeks of sunlight.
Oh, yeah, we had 1 week of perfect weather last week. It's just gone to shit again. But, you just have to deal with these things. And that means we can get stuck inside and watch heaps of things.
Oh, I've watched so much in the last week where I wasn't allowed to leave the house. So
honestly, I can't even, there's so much coming out now. I've been watching movie trailers all week and there's so many good shows out at the moment. The Offer, the first few episodes of The Offer just came out. It's the series about the Godfather films.
Oh, yeah. I thought that'd be right up your alley.
That just come out. I want to get into Billy the Kid on Stan. What else? Gaslit.
Oh, yeah, that looks good.
The list goes on as far as shows go.
Yeah.
And Netflix is just banging out true crime documentaries like there's no tomorrow.
Yep.
I can't keep up, man. They have the John Wayne Gacy tapes, the Marilyn Monroe one, the new Tony Collette show. Is it The Staircase?
The Staircase. Yeah, I've been watching that.
Sick. I don't know. I need to take a week off and lock myself in. The
one good thing about catching COVID and just wanting to lay in bed all day, all I did was watch movies and TV shows for the last week.
Guilt-free binging.
I didn't get to watch as much as I want because I'd watch about an hour and be like, I need to sleep. I feel like absolute death. But apart from that, anytime I was awake, I was watching some random thing, which was nice.
Live to tell the tale, though.
Yes, thank God. It was touch and go there for a couple of days. I did not feel good at all.
No, that's not what we want.
But I'm good now.
Good to see you up and running. That's what we want.
Yeah. Took about a week, but I'm good now, so thank you, vaccinations.
Looks like you've even gotten younger.
Oh, jeez, don't say that.
COVID was good to you, man.
But perfect timing. All good to go, ready for my US trip. So
yes, it's creeping up.
In for that. Yeah, it'll be a week when this episode comes out.
Pumped.
Actually, I think this episode comes out the week I'm gone. Yes, this one comes out. I'll be in air.
How good.
Which is exciting.
Exciting times. Get out of here.
I was watching AEW today and realized, there's only one more week of this before I'm actually at this. Which was very surreal to watch.
Creeps up every time I go away. It just creeps up. I'll be like, oh yeah, that's 6 months away. I'll be sweet. Next minute, like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to probably pack my bag tags and work the next 2 days.
Yeah, I think it was like when I caught COVID, I was like, oh crap, this is not that far away. I need to get healthy quick.
Yeah, I got lucky here. Yeah, except to test positive to go over there, eh? Do you?
Negative.
Positively negative.
But because I have recovered from COVID within 90 days, I don't have to do the 1 day test.
Oh, true.
It actually kind of worked out good because now I get all the bonus immunity and don't have to worry about the testing requirements.
I've seen a little, I seen a thing, these two girls got refused to board their plane to Bali this week because their PCR test expired by 2 hours.
Rough.
Yeah, so you got to work at like clockwork.
Well, I think that's why America made theirs. It's officially 1 day. It's not 24 hours.
Yeah, you need that. Like, yeah, exactly.
I could get tested at 8 a.m. on the Monday for a 10 p.m. Tuesday flight, and it still counts.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
Which is a lot better than needing it exactly 24 hours.
A little bit of luck, they'll scrap masks on planes and airports for you by the time you go. There was talk of that today.
Well, America has... It's not required on domestic flights in the States.
Yeah.
It's just the international leg. I'll have to wear a mask.
Honestly, though, planes are like the dirtiest recycled air anyway, pre-COVID. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Why won't we wear a mask to begin with on planes?
I'm pretty sure that is where... I'm pretty sure the plane is where I caught COVID going to Melbourne.
Yeah, for sure. All that recycled air.
I did spend about 7 hours in Melbourne airport, so that was fun.
Yeah. We were actually saying this, talk about this the other day. Sorry to bore everyone with COVID, but when they put everyone in quarantine hotels and everyone was just catching it because the COVID was going into like the
aircon and then going straight next door. Yep.
What a doozy that was. How did they think of that? And just going through like the seals of the doors, like the experts like, this isn't like a sealed quarantine facility. It's just a hotel.
Yeah. These aren't hospital isolation rooms where each room has its own individual aircon. Like, what are you doing?
People getting like Fire Festival spec little cheese sandwiches. Oh, what a time. What a time to be alive.
Thankfully, all of that rubbish is gone now. Now it's just...
it's gone, Ski.
Enjoy my trip time.
What a funny time.
I wish the Australian dollar was a bit stronger, but not much you can do there.
No.
67 cents or something on the dollar. Yeah, it's rough.
I was thinking 73. It's normally standard. Yeah, it's crap, actually.
Yeah, it's real bad.
Yeah, you save up all this money, and then all of a sudden, just half of it's gone.
Well, I remember
it's like,
when I got my travel card, it was at 71 cents, and I was like, oh, I've still got like 5 or 6 weeks. I'll wait. And now I'm like, should have done that back then.
Like, even if you Google exchange rate and what that tells you, just drop like 2 or 3 cents off that, because whoever you're going through, like your bank or your service, they got their own little rate as well.
Yeah, you take about
PayPal.
You take about 4 or 5 cents off it.
Yeah, like you buy something online and PayPal do their own exchange rate. They shaft you.
Yeah, I think at the moment, if you Google it, it's about 69, 70 cents, but going through the bank, it's 66 cents. It's like, oh, great.
Then you get to the airport, do it at the airport last minute, 59 cents.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. No way.
The worst. That's where they make the money.
On to the main topic of things we've been checking out. You recommended the new Netflix thriller movie Windfall, starring Jason Segal, Lily Collins, and Jesse Plemons. What a good find.
That's pretty much all it stars. Except maybe one
there's one other person. The gardener. Omar Leva is the only other person in the movie.
Yeah, I was trying to think last night. Is that just those 4? Yeah, like you mentioned, thriller. Is that your own genre slapping on it, or is it actually a thriller?
That's what it's described as, a thriller.
It was a very interesting because it was definitely got the lols out of me, so to speak. Like,
it definitely had funny elements, but I think the main part of it is like, let's build the tension, and especially in between characters, like all 3 of these people kind of have secrets that they're withholding from the other one.
Definitely. So you're basically Jason Segal character, who is I also realized no one in this has a name. No one in this movie.
True. So Jason Segal's character is known as Nobody.
Or he's the burglar, so to speak.
Lily Collins is simply the wife.
Yeah.
Jesse Plemons is the CEO/husband. And Omar Leva is just the gardener.
Yeah, I thought that was a very cool little touch. Yeah, so the Nobody.
It makes sense though, because like in this situation, you're not going to go around asking each other's names, and Like they try to get each other's backstory a little bit, but yeah, you're not going to go sit down and be like,
Yeah,
oh, what?
they
Wait,
no one
what's
got
your
any.
name?
I think at the, by the end of it, I'll probably jumping the gun here. Yeah, Lily Collins, the wife, she had the most sort of angst and the most secrets to withhold.
Oh yeah, she had secrets from everyone.
Yeah, like so yeah, basically Jason Segal what breaks into this tech billionaires. So he thinks it's a vacated holiday house in the California desert, and he's snooping around trying to see what he can find. Then the couple randomly appear at the house, and he's like, "Oh shit, I wasn't ready for this. I just want
Yeah,
to
right as he's
steal
about
some."
to leave too.
I just, so yeah, he sort of becomes an unwilling kidnapper,
Yep. Yeah,
and
it
he has no idea what he's doing.
quickly goes pretty sideways. Like, oh,
And that's when it gets very comical, and he sort of has no idea what he's doing, making it up as he goes. But then the couple are weirdly sort of not resisting, and they could easily have like outnumbered him to sort of attack him or outwit him, and they're just happy to open the bank accounts and cooperate. And yeah, it sort of turned into this little trio, so to speak.
I guess
Well, almost
when
working together. Then when
at that point, once you become that rich, if someone does try to rob you like that, you probably are just going to be like, I'm going to cooperate and deal with it and pay whatever it costs rather than
he
fight
jumped on that,
like it's your last penny. Like
he
if
jumped
I
on
have
that
billions
Skype
of
call with
dollars,
his,
who cares?
yeah, that's what he jumped on that Skype call with his accountant or manager and said, "Hey, I need you to, no questions asked, transfer like $250,000." Like they would have that set up for those situations, sure. These tech billionaires.
Yep. Yeah, he just rings his assistant and goes, I need $500,000 in a bag as soon as possible.
Dropped at
and
the door.
She's like, I can do it tomorrow. And he's like, are you fucking serious? Like, who cares? Just hurry up.
Yeah,
she sounds like the worst assistant too.
Yeah, well, that's another person you didn't get to see who's in it. So it's easy. We're in a quiet filming on a lot. Not many dressing room caravans, and so to speak.
Yeah, well, from what I read, it was basically Jason Segal pitched this movie on a Zoom call with the director Charlie McDowell 2 months into COVID quarantine.
Yeah, that's another thing I was gonna
at the start of 2020. So it was like, hey, let's try and make a movie with as few people in one location as possible. And I assume this is kind of what they came up with, which
so that's
perfect movie for this time.
Yeah, I noticed like it was filmed in like during peak like Californian COVID times, and it's sort of a bit of an ode to what was going on in the real world, wasn't it? Like these three people sort of isolated and stuck in a house together.
Yeah, so like I imagine they probably had maybe 20 people on set. Like they would have had a couple of camera guys, a couple of sound people, a makeup artist.
So it's come out a bit late, but it was essentially like the perfect film that was filmed during isolation and quarantine times.
I did like that there were so many like subtle clues.
It was a very choose your own
breadcrumbs
adventure.
Laid out at the start. Like they really give you all these little subtle hints of, okay, this might pay off in the end, and then they all do. Like the writing was really well done in that aspect, where they didn't throw anything right in your face.
Yeah, but enough was left wide open to sort of keep you guessing and like, hang on, what's going on here? Like, because there was no clear, they never gave you a clear motive of why he was breaking in. That was probably another thing they left with the viewer, I think, to just decide like
I took it as he must have lost his job
at
a factory or something because of whatever the algorithm was that Jesse Plemons' character created.
And that's
they never fully outwardly say that as this is why he's doing this.
Yeah, I think that's the direction they sent most people in, most viewers in, and that's what I thought straight away too. And the wife, Lily Collins, I think they mentioned she actually worked. She was like an assistant or worked for that company too.
Yep.
You know, I thought at one stage maybe Lily Collins and the Jason Segal character maybe secretly knew each other, but maybe they weren't leading on. Yeah, I don't know. It was, but at the same time, like when I said it was a lot left open, but it wasn't like missing dialogue or missing
No.
parts. There was enough left open to like keep you guessing, which was good.
Yeah, and like they show in her handbag the birth control pills at the very start, and then they mention the tattoo on her foot, and they talk that up a little bit, and then at some point she's like, "I loved that tattoo," and it's like they're just slowly building those ideas that she resents the husband.
Yeah, like
and
she's almost being
and then
kidnapped
they sort
herself
of
into this relationship.
yeah, and then they introduce him as like an adulterer, and then that's like adds another layer of tension between the couple, and it's just like when it all gets to the end and has that big payoff moment, it's like, okay, yes, all of this was leading to this moment rather than these were just thrown in there for the sake of throwing them in there.
Yeah, like in the end, it worked out perfectly for the wife, like Lily Collins. It was almost like it's just her master plan had come off.
Yeah, it was like the perfect out.
It was a really good
marriage
really
for her.
Really good ending. I was definitely satisfied with that ending.
Because she gets out of this marriage.
Got really violent quickly, didn't it? I was like, oh, this is pretty fun. This is like pretty, like they got like Jason Segal, this big softy playing this like big bad kidnapper. Like he plays generally soft roles in movies, and like
he's just kind of like the fun dad most of the time.
Yeah, but now he's playing this hopeless, like unwilling kidnapper. And then when there's the gardener, he trips over, does he, and kills himself.
Yeah, so
the glass door.
The Jesse Plemons character like just keeps pushing and pushing, like, oh, you won't shoot me, and then Segal shoots the gun off to the side, and that freaks the gardener out, gives the gardener an idea. I just need to get out of here, and he goes to run away and trips and just throat onto the glass door. I was like,
oh, this is it's going in this direction, is it? I was like, because at that
point got gruesome quick.
Yeah, I was like, this is like, well, like not that it was boring me. I was going very slow, and I was like, well, something's got to give here. Thought there's just three people been sitting around a house, sort of talking. I'm like, something's got to give here, and boom.
Yeah, I was thinking that like this is just gonna play out very boring, and
I love how casual they were after that. Like they're just all chilling in the lounge room, and there's this dead body like pissing out with blood from his throat just on the ground. Like they didn't even acknowledge it or really freak out that much.
I did like that they kind of just put him outside and close the curtains. Like that's outside. We can't see it. Doesn't matter.
Outside's problem. But then after that, the ending sort of sequence got really gory as well, I guess, and violent and aggressive. Yeah, it just it did it perfect. It did justice.
Yeah, Lily Collins got like super violent too when she takes out Segal's character with that statue. Another thing that they show like at the very start, and I was like, that was a weird shot. Why are they showing this random statue? And then it pays off at the end. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just it was almost like a bit of a fun sort of indie film festival vibe movie, wasn't it? But it's just, I think it turned out a lot better than they maybe have hoped or expected.
Yeah, when I first saw the poster and saw the cast, I was like, oh, this could be like really cheesy just because like Jason Segal, like you mentioned, he's kind of generally in those fun-loving dad comedy roles. Jesse Plemons has moments where he seems like evil, but then most of the time he's in those similar roles as well. So I was like, oh, this is going to end up being some cheesy Netflix movie.
He does play a bit of an unpopular bad guy, doesn't he, Plemons?
Yeah. But then watching it, I was like, this is actually much better than I gave this any credit for being.
Yeah, I have, I don't know what made me watch it. I'm not sure why it's called Windfall. Do you?
I guess because of if he got away with it, it would have been a good windfall of cash.
Do we think there will be a sequel? It would be I would love a sequel. I would love to know what's sort of the downfall, I guess, of what just happened.
Yeah, I would like to see what plays out with Lily Collins' character, but I don't know whether we'll get a sequel. Yeah. Maybe we get something that's like a similar vein, but a totally different group of characters or something.
Yeah, I haven't actually.
But I suspect now that COVID is over, they're just going to go back to filming regular movies. Like this feels like a movie that came purely out of time and necessity.
And it came out.
We need to make a movie.
It came out a bit late
as few
too,
people as possible.
I feel like they'd come out a bit late though, for whatever reason. No, it was fun, but I was I
wonder if it was just because like they really wanted to get the editing down and make sure it was a really tight movie rather than let's just film everything and chuck it out as a 2-hour movie. Like let's really tighten it up and make it a good 90-minute movie.
Really fun cast though. I think they nailed the casting. It's
good. Yeah. It was cool to see Jason Segal in that very different role.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. Yeah, it was very random group of people that just worked perfectly. Almost Big Brother house vibes, wasn't it?
Yep.
I like what it was.
Yeah, I was blown away by it.
I enjoyed it.
I've recommended it to about 3 or 4 people since I watched it. Like, you need to watch this movie. It was actually way better than I gave it any.
Yeah, it's an easy watch. For sure. Yeah, I loved it.
And then the other show we checked out was the TV miniseries The Girl from Plainville, which is now streaming on Stan. What was your impressions of this?
Right. Look, I've seen it, like the trailers for it just pop up as advertisements, and I never really paid much attention to it. I had Girl, I had no idea what it was about. Until that happened years ago. Like I remember seeing on the news, like when the girlfriend told her boyfriend to kill himself. Like we all you heard about that on the news.
Yep.
Now there's a documentary for it.
Yes.
Called I Love You Now Die.
Yep.
I didn't know about that, and I watched the show first. You did it the other way around, yeah?
Yeah, so I watched I Love You Now Die on binge a couple of years ago when it like first came out. And
so this all happened in what, 2013 to 2017 it all unfolded?
So the suicide happened in 2014 and she was convicted in 2017.
Yeah, so I pretty much knew next to nothing about it other than what I heard on the news at the time. Yeah, I don't know. I have mixed thoughts about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so it's basically, it follows the suicide of Conrad Roy after thousands of messages between him and Michelle Carter, and ultimately she tells him to get back in the car and finish his suicide attempt, and eventually gets convicted of involuntary manslaughter. But for me, the show, The Girl from Plainville, was not good. Like, it wasn't.
No, it tried. I think it tried too hard.
It tried to catch that emotional angle with you, and it didn't really catch me.
Yeah.
Felt super slow, and I think because I'd seen the documentary series as well, kind of knew how everything was going to play out, which obviously
and
didn't help me in terms of
that's what I found too. I didn't know what was going to happen or what was going to unfold, and I think that's what kept me interested in the show. If I knew everything, I would have turned it off. Yeah,
I struggled to finish it. I only finished it because I knew we were going to talk about it.
I got through it. I got through it because I wanted to know what was going to happen. But it's just another one. They keep popping up. It's another one that could have gotten away with like a 3-part mini-series or a feature length. There's no way this needed to be 8 to 10 episodes.
Like I think it's like 7 episodes or something, isn't it?
It pretty much dragged out the narrative of like Michelle just craving attention, and it was like pretty much a documentary about Michelle, not the boy that killed himself.
8 episodes, and it definitely did not need to be 8 episodes.
Could have been like 3 longer episodes because it like I said, dragged out, pushing that narrative of Michelle's quest for attention.
Yep, which I guess was a big part of sort of the whole storyline, but we didn't need 8 episodes of it. Like we could have got away with 4. I think 4 would have been plenty.
Yeah. And it was confusing too. There was a lot of backtracking, and it just jump scenes, like, and they didn't. Like, it was hard to tell that they were jumping back in time. Like the time was all over the place. It
Yeah,
was very
like
hard to follow.
there's
And,
time
and when
jumps
they kept
backwards and
putting the
forwards,
Conrad's character,
and then there's also moments where they're blending Michelle's
yeah. So they got
imagination and memories, and it's
present,
like
yeah.
I
So
can't tell what is
present
real, what
time
is fake.
Michelle, yeah. Present time Michelle, and then that she's like by herself. Then her subconscious, like, oh, she's in her head of that. Then yeah, they bring in Conrad and like into the room with her, and she's having conversation with him, but he's not there. But it just seems so real, like he is there.
Yep, yeah, like it
That
was
really
so hard
confused
to
me, and
tell
I hated that.
what's
I hated
real,
every time they did that. I'm
where in the
like
timeline
this.
it's.
The only time I did like that was the scene at the end in the bar, and it was almost real, like what could have been, and like she almost
Yep,
didn't remember it because it was like 10 years later, like Michelle grown up. I thought that was probably the best part of it, the whole thing right then. And it was like a big what could have been moment. So that sort of was a bit of a feel good about it, I guess, if you can say that. But there's another one of those ones too. Like, how do these get approval from like the families? Like, surely they have to. Do they just let them run with it, or what's the go? Or is it because it's like gone to the courts, it's been dealt with, and that's just free reign?
I
You
guess,
think
yeah,
on
because the
goodwill they'd
story,
have to consult.
I guess, yeah, just because it's been in the courts, it's kind of public domain now.
So
But
it's anybody's, yeah.
yeah, like you would think they would probably want to contact Conrad's family and be like, "You guys okay if we do this?" Like,
Yeah,
it's not even
that
5 years
was
ago that this kid killed himself.
a little
Or
bit,
it
tasteless, wasn't it?
just over. Yeah. What did you think of
Outstanding.
Elle Fanning's performance as Michelle Carter?
I was actually going to touch on that. They casted this to perfection. That was one thing I will say. This, everyone all the actors look exactly like who they were portraying,
Yes.
especially Michelle Carter. I
Yes.
couldn't believe it. Was uncanny how well they did that. Yeah,
I
she's
thought her
very
performance
good, I reckon.
was,
Very good acting.
I thought it was like a little bit cringy at times, but I think that's kind of
I think
the
that
point
I think that's what
with
it was.
Michelle's
Yeah,
character,
that was meant to be. I don't
because she
think
was
her
really
acting was
cringy at
cringy.
times.
She was playing a cringe. She was playing a cringy role. She was very cringy. Like the narrative that this all happened and it played out because she just wanted to bring attention to herself is absolutely psychotic.
Hmm. Like
like
the baseball
she made the
fundraiser and stuff.
baseball tournament, and she made a comment to one of her friends like, "Oh, I'm so popular now," or like, "I'm so famous now," or something like that. I'm like, whoa, like that's like not, if you all like love it, just kill themselves. These are not things you are thinking of. Like, these aren't the
No,
first thoughts in your head. Like, wow, I'm
and
so
yeah, like
famous now because of this. Are you kidding me?
even Conrad's best friends are like, "Why are we having this fundraiser in your hometown?" Like Conrad never
Yeah,
went there. Why are we not having it in his hometown where all
yeah.
his friends are that are going to want to support him? It was
Love
very weird situation.
Chloe Sevigny. Big fan of Chloe Sevigny.
Oh, yep, as
She
the
plays
mum.
Conrad's mother.
Yep.
Yeah. Another one who was casted very well, but very
Yeah.
different role for her. I haven't seen her in anything in recent years. A long
What
time.
else is she in?
She plays the secretary to in American Psycho.
Okay. Yep. Fair
For
enough.
starters. She's just a pop culture icon.
After you went back after watching the series and then watched the documentary, what did you think of the
Yeah.
documentary series?
Well, so I was going to get to that. I only got like an episode and a half in. I had to turn it off. I couldn't watch it.
It's
So
rough.
I think that would have.
It's real heavy.
I think just because it wasn't, it dragged on a lot. But yeah, it was very good and very informative. But like we touched on earlier, you need to watch one of these and one of these only, not both of them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
See, where you said you watched the documentary first and you struggled to get through the series, I watched the series first and struggled to get through the documentaries. Like it's honest. It's not like a groundbreakingly exciting murder mystery like investigation story. Like this guy killed himself. This chick was just like texting him saying, "Oh yeah, you should do it. That's cool." Like, it's not really that exciting when you think about it. It's just
it's just a messed up thing that teenagers do. I guess
such a big the crime was so unknown, and I think it's just the trial is what captivated us all. And we're just watching this for the trial. We don't really care about either of their backstories, essentially, do we? And that's what they tried to invest us in.
Yep.
Well, they just tried to milk Michelle Carter's life story, and it wasn't really that exciting. She's just, I reckon, like just your run-of-the-mill essentially.
So yeah, I would recommend watching the documentary that's only 2 episodes rather than 8 episodes of the TV series.
Well, I should have just finished it. I was only episode and a half in. I was like, oh, this is going to drag on for 6 episodes. I should have finished it.
It's 2 episodes. One's 58 minutes and one's an hour 15.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would recommend watching that over 8 hours of a TV show.
I was like, I'm not sitting through this. Yeah. Like I said, the documentary, from what I've seen, it got straight into it as well. It told you what needed to turn. Crime scene photos too, which is the thing everyone wants to see, sickeningly. And it's just, it just showed you what you wanted. Had interviews from the parents, the families. Yeah,
it's a super like sad, messed up story, but nothing like
very.
It's not like The Staircase where it like gets really weird and wacky at times. Like this one is just sad.
Yeah. It's like I said, it was just a big unknown because something like this has never really been convicted of before, and then up coming. I think the state of Massachusetts made a law after this called Conrads Law or Conrads Rule.
Yep.
So it convicts assisted death or assisted suicide.
Yep. Yeah, basically anyone that sort of encourages someone else to commit suicide is now liable, really, which is concerning, but I guess a good thing. You don't want people to be encouraging people to kill themselves like Michelle did,
especially in this day of day and age of vulnerability online and trolls and whatnot.
Oh yeah, especially
I think what I found I was hitting it out of the park the first 2 episodes, and I really found it hard to once it in the middle it started to plateau and really started to drag out. I was like, this is those middle few episodes really stretch it out. It was draining. Like, you're just sitting there like, can we just get to the trial? We don't need all this time of Michelle's backstory and Conrad's backstory. Like, let's just get to the trial part. Like, that's the part we want, and then the trial is over in like an episode and a half. Yeah, exactly. Out of all the
pacing was real.
All the true crime out there, that they actually have real documentaries on, they've picked a bit of a boring one to make a series out of. I think drama series. There's definitely better options out there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it didn't hit the mark.
Yeah.
Glad we agree.
So, overall, what would be your top recommendation for the week?
Yeah, Windfall's sick, man. It's a perfect, especially the weather as it is at the moment, perfect Saturday night at home movie. Very fun, easy watch. It's not going to scare you.
No, like, it's a thriller, but it's not a scary thriller.
Yeah, it's definitely not a thriller, yeah. No, it was definitely a fun watch.
Yeah, I'm the same. I highly recommend Windfall. Like I said, blew away all of my expectations, so everyone needs to check it out. Like, it doesn't seem to be getting as much hype as I was sort of expecting after watching it.
This will spread the word, I think.
Yep. Another one of our random sleeper picks that will get picked up in 6 months' time.
6 months? Well, it was taboo. It took them years.
It took them like 2 years, yeah.
I hope we get more of that soon too.
Yeah. Alrighty. Thank you everyone for listening to the commentary booth. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on podcast services and on YouTube. You can follow Blake on Twitter at Captain Crumbs with a Z, and you can follow me on social media at Jamie Apps Media and at Pario Magazine. The Commentary Booth is a fan-funded production of Jamie Apps Media. You can support the podcast alongside our magazine, Pario Magazine, on Patreon at patreon.com/Jamie Apps Media. The following people supported at the community support group level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are for their support. Brian and June Hart, Blake Robinson, Rena Renee, Courtney Paulson, Darren Hatcliffe, Jackson Carr, and Tracy Apps.